I would like to tell you about the great word called Om, what it is, what it represents, and how it came into being. In the beginning, I have to tell you that whatever I am telling you is a hypothesis for you. You should not accept me as the last word, but as a scientific mind. Look at everything with open-mindedness. You should keep yourself open, see for yourself what I am telling you, and then later on, if it can be proved, then you have to accept it as a law or the divine law. Om is a word people don't understand because it is at the very beginning of this creation that the energy of God, energy of His love, separated from His identity. He pushed her, call it as lasya. He pushed her to create. And he became the spectator and she had to create. At that time when she was pushed, we don't have here something to show you how it worked. But when he tried to push her, her movements went into a kind of a word which is written as like this, three, a, u and ma. So there are three words in it. At the time of that pushing, when the separation took place, there was a sound. This is the first sound, and that sound is called as Om. So many people call it as Logos, but to understand it, you have to go deeper into it and what it was. So her power got divided into three, a, u and ma. And that's how she became Om. So Om is the sound which is emitted when she creates, which acts as the basis of the essence of her love. Then how she started creating is a very long story which I won't be able to tell you today. But this Om is the one that she first used to create the innocence on this earth. So this Om was the innocence with which she filled the whole universe. So Om is nothing but is the innocence that you see in children, in so many people, in saints, and in most of the incarnations, that they are empowered by their innocence. And this innocence first filled the whole space. Even before creating the space, innocence was there. That was the first creation of element, and that was the innocence. So Om is innocence which does all the living work on this earth. For example, we see these flowers become fruits. We take them for granted. We don't understand that there must be some great mechanism to make the flowers a fruit. We take everything for granted. For example, we take ourselves for granted. We have come from amoeba stage to this stage, and we take ourselves for granted. We don't know how we have become this. We have to know that we have become this because there must be some purpose behind it. And because we do not know the purpose, that's why we are confused. Now this U and Ma are three powers. The first power, as we call it in Sahaja Yoga language, in a personified way, is of creation power. You can say the power, no, I'm sorry, is the first power is of the desire power, by which God desired. We call it as the Mahakali power, which resides on the left side of the primordial being, which resides within us on the left hand side, which is manifesting outside the left sympathetic nervous system, which looks after, caters after our past, which caters after our emotions. Just now somebody told me that in the West it is not regarded very good to express your emotions, which is a wrong thing. You should not suppress your emotions. Emotions are very important because they give the balance to personality. Whatever it is, this left side developed into a society of people, groups of people who started worshipping God without thinking, like Catholicism you can say, or any such thing, that they did not think. There was non-reflecting kind of people who would just surrender to God and pray to God. But as I told you yesterday, the mistake was that we believed that we have achieved the end was a wrong thing, because we were not educated on that point. Just by going to some guru, by reading some book, by propounding some sort of a theory, or by saying that we are such and such, we do not become. And such people who just became different organizations really created a fortress for themselves into which truth could not enter. So we had to keep ourselves open to know that yes, we believe in God, all right, but still the light of God has not been expressed within us. It is not yet we have felt the light on our central nervous system. If we really are truthful, we have to just believe that yes, there is God, there is His power. Because we see all these things happening which we take for granted, we can't explain. At least we have to believe there is a power, all-pervading power which does this. Imagine an Indian will produce an Indian child, a mango tree will produce mangoes, an apple tree will produce apple. Who does this sorting out? It's tremendous. Tremendous things are happening, but we take everything for granted. Now all these things happen to us, but we take things for granted, and also we take for granted our beliefs. So the left-sided people started working on the devotion and dedication and saying that God, you are everything. But those who were not educated by great saints and seers accepted it as if they are the chosen ones, or they are something already achieved God, or they are already realized souls, and they formed groups. And that was the death of truth there. Now the second type of people came out of the another power, which is the right side power of action, of creation. Out of this power, the whole creation took place of all the sun, the moon, the stars and all constellations, and all the 14 universes were created out of this power, which is the right-sided, called as Mahasaraswati. This power started working among people, and they thought that as this power has created all the elements, we should try to go to the essence of the element and try to invoke it. So the invocation of the element started by another group of people. The group of people that started this were doing yajnas. You see, they used to invoke the fire and say the mantra of Yom, of the Nirakara, is the formless, and they tried to do many things of this kind just to invoke the element. So the second group of people started doing this. Now, invoking the element has resulted into today's knowledge of science, because once you go into the essence of the matter or the elements, you can harness it and you can find out how to use it. There's another method also by which you can harness it if you become really the spirit. You can manage that also. But at the rational level and the human level, they achieve the science. But science is still a blind lane. And not only that, but it has a linear movement by which we have developed horrible things like atom bombs and all these modern things which are shattering our confidence. So the second group of people were searching in this. There was a third group of people who came out of the third power of Mahalakshmi, who were the people who were just trying to see the spirit evolve themselves. And the third type of people were the ones who went into the forest and lived there. Thank God, India is such a country that you can live under a tree. You don't have to wear a coat and hat when you have to go out of the house, spend about 15 minutes dressing up yourself to protect. So this place, India, is a place where you can live in a forest, you don't need much, you can eat fruits and you can be happy there. So the attention of people did not move outside as it moved in the West. They were not bothered as to get protection for themselves, make the houses, or to then get the cars and all those things which are needed for human comfort. I mean, it went to the other extreme of comfort. But in India, when this meditation took place, these great seers worked it out in such a way to find out what is the method of evolution. You'll be surprised, 14 years back, we have a poet called Markandeya who has described the evolutionary process in human beings. He has described it clearly, how the Kundalini rises, how she gives you the moksha, the realization.